Hello everyone, I hope you all are good. Very recently on 26th June 2023, we have celebrated International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And on that day, I presented PPT presentation. That PPT presentation, uh, incidentally or coincidentally, whatever, we could not save or we could not record that presentation, and therefore I got a lot more messages that they want recording. Then I thought, okay, then I can record it for the people, for young generation or those who want to listen to my presentation. And therefore I thought, okay, I can make a presentation for my YouTube channel, and therefore this presentation for those people who wanted a recording. Okay. Uh, every year on 26th June, UN celebrate International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Uh, Same way, this 26th June also they have celebrated, and one of the organization, they invited me for this presentation. So I thought, okay, I can present my topic here, as I have been in the teaching field, in the academics, and therefore some of the students I came across who were drug addicts, and who were habitual of drinking or mostly a drug addiction. And they were open to discuss with me, like what kind of drugs they use and how they feel, and how what are the defense mechanism they have created when they say that they are drug addiction. And in that also, one of my student, she got married to drug addict person, and later they have open de-addiction center. Slowly as the PPT comes, I will narrate my incidences with my students and in general population. So I will go PPT wise. So the first PPT is talking about the theme. So this every year they have a different themes, so like that this year, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, that is UNDC, they have kept this year theme was people first, stop stigma, discrimination, and strengthen prevention. So as we know that most of the people, those who are involved, they were get lot more criticism, lot more stigma, lot more discrimination from the society, from their own house, from their friends, and in general society. Okay, so here the this year's theme is talking about stop stigma, discrimination, and strengthen prevention. So prevention is one of the most likely, or one of the most favorite thing, where I strength or I stress upon it. Prevention, see, prevention is why prevention is important, because if you have a prevention, then that person doesn't go in the rehabilitation phase. If you control before doing, it's always good, because if you start doing it or if you go into that phase of drug addiction or alcoholism, it's very difficult to come out from it. And there are chances, I will narrate the incidences, that there are lapses also is there, like some people, they go into the rehabilitation mode, and sometimes some years they stop again, some or the other point they again start. There are different reasons, I will go when I will talk about when the rehabilitation topic comes. So therefore prevention is very important, and this is one of the best mechanism to do any kind of bad thing, or to do any kind of drug addiction. So here United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has understood the importance of taking people-centric approach. So this is a people-centric approach is very important in social work profession also. We first give importance to the people, and then everything else. Even even the medical profession also, they have a people, they give the first preference. So here the people centric approach to drug policies with a focus on human rights, compassion, and evidence based practices. Compassion, as we say, as the theme is talking about stop stigma and discrimination. So then what we have to do? If you stop stigma and discrimination, then we have to show your compassion, okay, and the evidence based practices. This is what this UNODC is focusing on this year theme. The aim of this year's campaign is to raise awareness about the prominence of treating people who use drugs and respect and empathy. So, the person who is involved in the drug addiction, okay, while treating to that person, we should show the maximum respect and empathy, okay, providing evidence based voluntary services for all, proposing alternatives to punishment. That is very important. Like most of the time, in general also, what we see, if you have done something, give the punishment. So that is not the way. We have to have different ways to answer to these problems. So if the person is involved in this, such kind of activity, rather than giving punishment, you should show empathy, you should show compassion, you should show care, love. That should be the approach rather than punishment. There are cases like family members keep the drug addict person uh, holding or keeping in the house and tying on in somewhere in the house, and not allowing that person to move or even to move in the houses. And there are incidences has been it is in the society that shackle, they tie that person in the shackle with their with their leg, and then there only that person has to eat or has to do all the urine and toilet everything, and so all dirty things is there. So you can imagine that what are the physical and mental condition that person might be facing if that person already in the drug addiction moment or in the drug addiction phase. And in that case, in that situation, again you are tying that person by their hand with the shackle and not moving and not showing the compassion, not showing the empathy. So rather than giving punishment, you should always show your compassion, love, and the empathy to that person. And the prioritizing prevention. That's what I have also stressed upon, that first thing, prevention. It's very important. Rather than going in a rehabilitation mode, first you should give importance to the prevention. So your first priority is prevention, and leading with compassion. As I am talking about, we should handle that person or that people with compassion and lot more compassion, okay. The campaign, this year's campaign, also aims to fight stigma, discrimination against people who use drug by promoting language and attitude that are respectful and non-judgmental. See, the respectful and non-judgmental is a social work terminology, and it is one of the principle in social work profession, that any client or any person who comes with problem, we should treat that person with non-judgmental attitude. Like that, you should not have preconceived ideas. Like if any prostitution come to you or drug addict person come to you, so you should not have that preconceived idea that they are bad, they are in this illicit activity, so we have to treat them very badly, we have to discriminate them, or we have to give them labeling. No, we have to treat them with non-judgmental and compassion and with respectful manner. So that is what this year's first theme talk about. So we should work on this, okay. Here there are three categories I have made. One is drug and environment. Why I kept drug and environment? Because it also The drug is in the society because people cultivate that drug in their countries, and it affects on their deforestation also. Therefore, drug cultivation and deforestation has a very direct linkages. Okay, and we know that how the environment is deteriorating day by day, and therefore we have to be very cautious that when we should not cultivate drugs because it affects on your environment, at the same time people in the society. So here the drug and environment, the direct and indirect effect of illicit crop cultivation, drug manufacture, and drug policy responses on the environment. So these are the three things. One is illicit drug crop cultivation, drug manufacturing. If it is a cultivation, definitely then it goes in the manufacturing, and it affects or it comes in your policy, and how your government policy respond to that activity. So that we have to see. For plant-based drugs, for example, the relationship between illicit crop cultivation and deforestation. As I said, there is a direct link between crop cultivation, illegal crop cultivation, and deforestation. So the cultivation of afim, poppy, coca, these are the name of the drugs. Okay, that is, they are the plant drugs. And production of afim and coca leaf for the main producing countries are Afghanistan, Myanmar, Mexico, and Leo People's Democratic Republic. Okay, for Afim and Colombia, Peru is there, and the plurinational state, and Bolivia for coca. So these are the countries where they do the illicit crop cultivation, and it affects on their manufacturing, at the same time drug policies. Okay, and deforestation. Then the other topic I have created was uh, prevalence of drug among who are the most affected people, or who are the most people involved in the drug addiction. So the young people consume more drugs than older people. Okay, males consume more drugs than female. People in contact with criminal justice system, that is those who are involved in the crimes, okay, show higher prevalence rates than the general population. Okay, common people doesn't have, but the people who are in criminally involved, they are more involved in the drug addiction. And the HIV positive patients, prostitutes, and the age 15 to 64 age group is been considered as the mostly highly uh, uh, people who take drug addiction. Okay, the reasons for drug prevalence. What are the reasons for drug prevalence? So the drug cultivation, as we discuss. Another is production, then manufacture, sale, and demand. Demand is one of the main reason for drug trafficking. So if it, because it is demanding, and therefore supply is there, and because it is demanding, therefore cultivation is there. So one of the main reason for drug trafficking is demand. So that is what it is. Then because I was representing India, therefore one slide I kept for India exclusively. So here I have given some nutshell things about India. So here, according to the latest annual report by the Narcotic Control Bureau, that is we call NCB, drug trafficking through sea routes in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, predictable to account for around 70% of the total illegal drugs smuggled into India. So these are the 70% of drug comes through your sea routes. Okay, so these are the ways the drugs come into India. So cannabis products, this is also one of the name of drug, often called charas, bhang, or ganja, are abused throughout the country because it has attained some amount of religious sanctity, because of its association with some Hindu deities. So here, that is a fact of India, that the Hindu culture, like maybe some of the festivals, okay, Holi, and here some of the scents we see, maybe nearby Ganga, there is one river in Uttar Pradesh. So in that area, there's some saints. They always intoxicating kind of mindset. That is what they take, choras, bhang, ganjas. Okay, so that's what it is, because of the festivals, or because of this culture of the Hindu festivals. We see that this is the custom. It's became custom in the society and in the family, that even ladies, gents, they take some of the intoxication during their festival time, or when they celebrate their culture. So this is also one of the very bad kind of practices we see in the Hindu society, or in the culture in India. So this is one of the reason that in some of the families, the prevalence of drug addiction is quite used to it, or it's familiar. Even some of the families, we see that the elder people, they take in front of children, and the children also then become complacent, and then they become also relaxed. Okay, huh, they have taken, so might be it is kind of accepted norms that even we can also take, or when we go in certain age, then we can also take. Like I have seen person who was ninth grade, okay, and his father and mother very proudly were telling that, oh, he took first alcohol when he was ninth grade, and that is also in front of us. I don't know what kind of proudness they feel, that they are making children, okay, you drink in front of me, rather than they should avoid in front of the children, rather they making children to see, and you also drink in front of me. So that is also one such kind of customs or culture we should avoid in our families. So alcohol, cannabis, opium, heroin are the major drug misused in India. Here, buprenorphine, propofin, and heroin are the most commonly injected drugs. Injected drugs. There are drugs where people inject in their veins. And I am witness of that drug injection when I was living in Kalyan. That Kalyan is a city in Mumbai, and there in first number platform, most of the beggars, or maybe they might be a good people, I don't know, but they were taking injections, drug injections in their veins. At the same time, some were having the smoking kind of thing. There they have a silver foil, and on the silver foil they burn something, and with smoke they inhale that smoke. And it was happening even daytime, and we could see that injections, this such kind of inhalation of this, or taking all this, there were different type of things. Even whitener, I have seen people who used to take whitener. So there are different ways that people intoxicate themselves and become mentally numb. So the country has nearly 1.8 crore sedative users, the maximum number being in Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra, Punjab, and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the states of India where such practices or such sedatives users are available in this streets for small quantity. So there are punishment, government has kept some punishment for small quantity. 6 months imprisonment is there, with rigorous imprisonment, or a fine up to 10,000, or both. So you have imprisonment or fine. It's up to what kind of quantity you are carrying, or what kind, what how how much you have taken that drug. For less than commercial quantity but greater than smaller quantity, imprisonment of up to 10 years, and fine which may extend to 1 lakh. So that is what the imprisonment varies according to the quantity of the drugs you are carrying. So in 2017, government has initiated one mental health care. Okay, so under the mental health care, so alcohol and drug use became disorders under this ambit. So if you are taking alcohol or drug addiction, that means you have some mental illness or you have some mental disorder under this act it's talking about. Very recently I read that under this act, this is the first operation, psychological app operation has been operated here in Mumbai. So that is also this act talk about the mental illness or disorders. Okay, so here, as I was discussing about prevention and rehabilitation, these are the two only ways where you can uh, work on your drug addiction or the people who are nearby or who are taking drug addiction. So here we are talking about first prevention. Okay, so prevention is the best mechanism. Okay, and under that prevention I have created 12 kind of points. So under each point I will discuss here with you. So first and very important is say no. No, whether it is your family function or whether it is your culture or whether it is your relatives or whether it is your friends or whether you are any authority like teachers or boss, whatever, or maybe social demand, they are telling that or take some one sip or alcohol or take one kind of drug kind of thing. Never use that. I can give example here. Very recently, I was talking to one of the person. He's a young guy, and he was telling he became now chain smoker of cigarette. So I asked he how you got used to it with this. So he said like when he was working and he was sharing residence with one of his friend, and his friend was chain smoker. He was not. He was okay, and because his friend was a chain smoker, and therefore he also felt okay. It is okay kind of thing, and then he also started taking smoking, and now he became addicted, and now he became habituated. So, under any kind of circumstance, say direct, indirect demand or force, never take and say no to that. So, therefore, the best thing is that avoid friends who are into that, maybe alcoholism or cigarette or drugs or any kind of intoxication kind of activity. So avoid such people, avoid such friends. Here I can give here the kind of argument the uh, people say that no, that person is very good, only that he has some habit, bad habit. But that bad habit, directly or indirectly, it may affect you and it will affect you, and you will become very complacent or you will become very normal. Oh, no problem, that person is taking, oh, I can also take. So, therefore, if you understood that my friend or my colleague or my boss or my whatever is taking, and avoid, completely avoid, and don't be in such a company that where you may it happens that it may happen that you may get influenced under this kind of people. So therefore avoid such people, say no to it. Okay, this is one of the best and very important thing. The second is family environment, tradition, religious norms, as I have discussed that here in India or in other countries also there might be some norms are there, traditional norms, or some kind of religious or customs, cultures might be there in your family, or in the family there might be the people who elder who are taking and they are okay, and even they are okay that children are watching. So whatever your family custom is, whatever your family environment is, you may not change them, okay, but what is in your hand, at least you can control yourself, at least you can say, or at least you cannot, you avoid taking that. So that is important. The third is friends and temptation. So peer pressure is one of the very important that people get addicted and people get involved. So the peer pressure can be forceful, the peer pressure can be emotionally can drain you or blackmail you, that you are my best friend, why you are not, you will not listen, at least once you listen, like that lot more kind of argument they will do. Never ever take such kind of friends with you, or avoid such friends who make you emotionally full, or who make you emotionally vulnerable, okay, and take your advantage. So, and the temptation also, there are a lot more temptation, okay, just once we'll try and taste, and then let's say no, next time I will not take, so that kind of thing. Oh, other people are taking, I will also take. Oh, what happen if I take only once, like that. There are, or friends kind of blackmailing or force, whatever it may be, or some kind of enjoyment purpose they do, or maybe something bad happen, maybe you fail, or maybe breakup of your relationship, whatever. So maybe bad occasion or the good occasion, or maybe the celebration occasion, maybe the first time, or maybe whatever may be the reasons, avoid that, not to involve yourself in that such kind of condition. Then the school and colleges, as I was working in one of the private institution there, I found that most of the students were drug addict and alcohol addiction, and even my school, my college students who, to whom I was teaching, they were also. One of one of the student, today his birthday, I sent him birthday message, I wished him. So, like, I was talking to him, like most of the time he used to absent in the classroom, and then I used to tell, why you didn't attend? So, no ma'am, I was sleeping, no ma'am, I was doing something other, no ma'am, I was on that tapri. So I used to tell him, shall I come to your tapri to teach you? No, 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 you don't come there, I will come, I will come. He was very good human being, but he was a drug addict. And when I was talking to him, so he was giving kind of different mechanism, like he was telling, ma'am, like drug is now very good. Even the Disney World, who has made Disney World, that person is also was drug addict. And if you take drug, that at a stage 48 hours you get concentrated and work. And I worked multiple, like my energy get boosted multiple times, and I, my creativity, and I work very enthusiastically and very at a stage. So such kind of defense mechanism, or maybe that person got in that addiction influence or that drug influence, and therefore his behavior was not normal, and therefore he felt that oh, I'm very productive during that drug kind of intoxication time. But he was not understanding that that intoxication, until that is not get over, till that that person is kind of more productive, or maybe he's doing multiple time more productive work. But once that that influence gets away, then that person becomes, not become normal, he became abnormal. So it was affecting on their his mental health, his sleep pattern, his diet habit, his relationship with his friends, and relation his other productivity involving in other activity, like maybe some kind of other extracurricular activity. So it was affecting. Maybe initially it may not showing him, but it was affecting in his all other areas. Therefore, what I understood then, what I felt that okay, let my students take to the de-addiction center. So I arranged a visit, and I took my students to visit the de-addiction center. And it was really very impactful because they saw the real drug addict people. They saw people, they listened their stories, they listened their lapses, they listened their faults, how even after rehabilitation, how they again got addicted to the alcoholism. I can give one example here. That person, he was an intelligent person, he was very well qualified person, and the person was always used to travel from this country to that country, and with lot more kind of work experiences. So he said that he got drug alcohol addiction because he a lot more travels he used to do from one country to another country, and therefore there was time zone differences. And whenever he used to travel from this country to that country, so his sleep pattern got disturbed, his diet pattern got disturbed. And then he felt that okay, so he initially started taking very little kind of alcohol, and then he used to get sleep. But slowly he got addicted, and then he became alcoholic. He became so alcoholic that he has to leave his job because he could not concentrate on his work. He could not attend his office at the right time. He could not attend his meeting. He were nowhere he was productive. He came on road, and that was the reality. And somehow somebody took him to the addiction center, and there he got rehabilitated. But again, I think this was his second or third time he came to the rehabilitation center. So that is what I'm telling, even if you go in the rehabilitation center, there is no kind of guarantee that throughout your life you will not touch that drug or you will not touch that alcohol. So better, rather than going into the rehabilitation kind of phase, better you should work on prevention. So there are a lot more kind of cases we could, or my students saw, and their histories saw in the de-addiction center, and therefore they got lesson. And they were so happy that that madam, you were the first teacher who took us to the de-addiction center, and then we really got some kind of setback or some kind of lessons from these real cases who were in the de-addiction center for rehabilitation. And then most of the students, even girls and boys, they left. And I was so happy that okay, at least whatever I could do, it really helped my students. So schools and teachers also take some kind of initiatives if they found such kind of cases in their institution premises. Another thing is that nearby their institution, they also should be very cautious that such kind of person or tapri or shops should not be there, or some kind of stranger people who just look for the students who can get into that such kind of activity. So avoid such kind of shops, or see your premises always should have some kind of student centric environment rather than such kind of illegal kind of this thing. So school and colleges should be aware about this in and out kind of premises activity. Then the government, then the social media, as we are like I am using social media to reach to you. So there are, I also watch lot more videos, lot more kind of reels and documentaries and lot more kind of things. The social media is one of the very important mechanism or way to communicate now in this generation. So young generation should understand that what to see, what not to see. Okay. And and how we can use the social media for your betterment rather than your regression kind of thing. So whatever, whoever you are using social media, like through your mobile or laptop or any other things, so you should be very aware, cautious, what kind of things you are watching, what kind of things is coming in your mind and it's affect your mind, the social media. So always use the social media for your upliftment or for your constructive constructive construction in your in your life rather than watching all these things. Then the sixth is the government policies. The government policy should be very strict. Law should be very strict for prevention and for rehabilitation both. Okay, so in India, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985 controls drug abuse and drug trafficking. So it controls. Okay, under this act, cultivation, manufacturing, transportation, export, and import of all narcotics and psychotropic substances is prohibited except for medicinal and scientific purposes and as authorized by the government. So under this act, the cultivation, manufacturing, transportation, export, and import all is banned. So government policies, it's very important. Then the seventh point is understand what is substance abuse and how it develops. So here I can explain here that uh, from fifth standard onwards only, I feel that, or as early as you should tell student or children what is good, what is bad, if you, what is alcohol, what is drug, if you take alcohol, what affects, how it affects on your mental health or emotional or your financial or your physical. Same way the drug addiction, how, what are the drugs are available, how it happens or how it affects on your health. So you should make them aware about what is the substance abuse and how it affects and how it develops. Okay, through your friends or your culture or you're watching whatever. So make the children aware at very young age, as early as possible. Make the children aware with the understanding of substance abuse. Then eight point is work on mental illness. That is very important. Like if you have mental illness such as anxiety is there, depression is there, post traumatic stress disorder is there. There are cases, and I have seen that some of the engineering students or some of the students, they take bhang or charas or ganja when they are under the pressure of exam or under the pressure of preparation of the any kind of examination. And why they take, they have their kind of defense mechanism that if we take, then like as I said, 48 hours we can awake and we can study and the concentration span become more, and we concentrate very fast, and then we don't get sleep. So all these kind of things. So I can give example like one of my friend, he's alcohol and sometimes he take drug also. So during his PhD time, when he was having the PhD thesis defense, that time he took alcohol and then he came. So what was his kind of a defense mechanism was like uh, then I become normal. When I take, I become normal and I became more confident, and then I don't see who is there in front of me, but I can give answers. So this is what, so you should see your mental illness, anxiety, depression, and post traumatic disorder. So if such things are there, and during that time also, most of the people, they take drug addiction. So if you have certain thing, then show to your psychiatric, so show to the counselor rather than going into the drugs. Most of the people, if the breakups is there, examination stress is there, or financial stress is there, then they take alcohol help or the drug help. So that is what we should avoid. Then the ninth point is aware about the risk factors. So if you have a family history of mental illness or addiction, or several studies have shown that this disease tend to run in the family but can be prevented. If you have such history, so you can work on it and you can prevent going into that addiction phase. The more you aware about your biological, environmental, and physical risk factors, the more likely you are to overcome them. So if you are aware about what is happening or how it is happening from your through your biology or factors, or maybe through your social, or maybe family, or maybe friends, the more you can work on it. So the heredity and genetic factor also you have to check if it is there, and you can prevent that, you can work on it. Okay. Then the 10th is maintain a well balanced life. As you should know the stress management. The stress management can do in a different way. Maybe you sleep, or maybe do exercise, or do meditation, or do yoga, or go for long tour. Whatever stress management can happen as per your own convenience, so that you have to work on it, and develop a larger goal in your life. Okay. Rather than working on small things and involve in the problems, small problems, work on your larger goal. So what are my larger goals? And maybe if that goal is fulfilled, have another bigger goal and achieve and work on it. And during that process, never take assistance of such kind of bad thing. And dream for your future. So have your larger bigger goal and dream for your bigger future. And the education and awareness, as I said, you should be very aware and have a more kind of solid education about what exactly the substance abuse, or how to avoid it, how to prevent it. Okay. Then social drink, and this is what very recently it is coming in the society. I don't know how people are convinced with this social drinking and the occasional drinking. What kind of social drinking and what kind of occasional drinking? If once you are went into that, it may happen that occasionally or wherever you will go, you take the so avoid such kind of traps, or avoid such kind of labeling, like, okay, social drinker, I'm an occasional drinker, I'm a casual drinker. No. Once you start, there are chances you go into the addiction, and there are chances then your life may get spoiled. So better not to taste. That is the saying that we don't taste poison. Okay, we know that once you take poison, you will die. So the same way, why you want to taste this thing? So avoid that. Then the another this prevention mechanism is over. Now the rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is not in your hand at all. Rehabilitation is in the hand of psychiatrists, your expert, your doctors, your counselor. So rehabilitation is not at all in your hand. So you are a guinea pig, you are a puppet in the experts, in the doctors, in the counselor, in the psychiatrists, or the addiction people, those who will treat you. So therefore rehabilitation, it's very tricky. As I said, in the rehabilitation process also there are cases, relapses cases. Therefore better avoid. rather than go into the rehabilitation process. So in the rehabilitation process, there are four kind of stages. One is a recovery stage. That is the first stage of physical rehabilitation of a recovery stage. Then the second is a repair stage. After the healing process has begun, the next step is to start a recovering movement and mobility. Okay, then the third is a strength stage, and the fourth is a function stage. So this is not in your hand, so better not to think of rehabilitation rather than think of prevention. I hope this much kind of information is very useful to you, and spread this information as many as people possible, so that a young generation or those who are in that de-addiction, they leave this, and those who are not, they will prevent themselves going into that. And thank you for watching. I will come with a new video to my YouTube channel. Take care.